Happy 4th of July! It's the BumbleKast, and I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King. Joining me as always is my patented ball of fireworks, Kyle, JCRB Kraus.
How's it already July? What happened?
I don't know, dude.
I mean, I can't even keep track. Like, I've lost all sense of time and place and existence. I don't have anything. I got nothing. What do you have, Ian? Do you have anything? Because I got nothing.
I have a staggering number for you, sir.
What's that? What's that? Tell me, please. Tell me.
So, June.
Uh-huh.
This is this very beginning of July, so I'm not counting these questions.
Right.
Just for up through the first half of the year, we have answered 1,792 questions on the BumbleKast.
What?
For the first half of 2022 alone, 92 questions.
Wow. There's probably at least like several times that in the queue, so we probably should get going.
We absolutely should. These questions all come from our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members. Thank you all so much for your support.
Indeed. You guys are amazing. First, for asking so many questions and letting us answer them, and not complaining too much when you don't like the answers. For most of you. There's a few of you. You know who you are. Here's one from Alex GS to get us started. What is a piece of merchandise you wish existed for something? Is there anything you're surprised doesn't already exist?
I just want IDW figures.
Yeah.
You know?
What the heck?
Like whose hand do I have to shake over at Jack's Pacific to get Tangle and Whisper and Mimic and everybody? Just, I want them. I want all the toys. I want all the toys! Yeah. I mean, I super wanted a tornado for all these years, and now they finally have one. It's the movie version, but I don't care. It's still the tornado.
It's the same. It's the same thing. It does. They didn't really change the design of it.
Yeah, I wanted like customizable Eggmobiles. Attach the Eggmobile to other weapon outfits. They are making that now.
Yeah.
I wanted Rouge and Omega. They've made it now. So the list of what I want is slowly being completed. But I want more.
Yeah.
I want more.
I remember back in the day when I was a kid, like I was really hoping for a Knuckles plush to go with the Sonic and Tails plushes that I had as a kid. But they never had one until like years later. I think it was with Sonic X. And they weren't to the same, I don't think they're to the same scale. They weren't exactly the same. So it was a little weird. So yeah, but I always wanted that when I was a kid. But, I mean, now we got plenty of that, so it's not like there's any shortage of Knuckles stuff anymore. Not like there used to be.
It was years ago, but I had the most vivid dream that I was at a flea market and I found a complete set of Skies of Arcadia stuff. Like somebody had a complete collection and they just sold it off for cheap. And everybody had like their signature weapons and they were all made with like clear, high quality plastic, so it actually looked like Moonstone stuff. And they had just enough articulation so that you could pose them in fun ways, but not like super detailed so that they were, falling all over the place. It was like the full cast, all the generals. There were like small hand-sized ships you could like, wave them through the air going, woo, I'm doing an air battle, pew pew. And there was like the Crescent Island play set so that you could have little characters stand on the balconies of the things. And the whole thing opened up so you could fit a Delphinius in there. And I just had so much fun. And then I woke up. And that is perhaps the saddest I have ever woken up, Kyle. I started researching how to make your own custom molds because I needed this. And it turns out it's very complicated and expensive. And I don't have money or skill. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I got most of the merchandise I want. I don't know if there's really anything else I want necessarily. There's stuff that's cool. I'm sure that it exists. I mean, thanks Funko Pops for literally making everything into something. Not that I want them, not that I want the Funko Pops, but just it's a thing. So when are we gonna have the Bumble King?
The principle of the matter.
When are we gonna have the Bumble King plush?
I don't know.
Get that little alligator with his little antennae. crocodile, whatever he is.
Is there a market for that?
I
If you
mean,
want to see an actual Bumble King plush,
if you would
comment below, email us, let us know. We can actually look into it.
if you would buy one, that's the key. You have to be willing to buy one. So yes, you can't just say yes. I'd like to see one. No, you have to be willing to buy it. You got to be willing to throw actual money behind it. I don't know, man. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Maybe.
I mean, we still have a little bit of merch that moves on the BumbleKast store.
Eventually.
People do support us there, so
Yes.
maybe.
Slowly.
Maybe.
Slowly. Alphamon Oriyukin has a question. Sega decides to heck with it and plans to make their own version of Super Smash Bros. And you are put in charge of choosing the character roster. The limit is 20 characters. Who will you pick? You can choose more than one character from certain franchises.
It's just 20, so that's our first round of Smash Brothers.
Yeah, you can't like put in like you can't put in the entire cast of Skies of Arcadia, even though you probably want to, because that would just literally be the Skies of Arcadia game.
Yeah. See, if we were talking like Ultimates size roster, I would want the lead protagonist, the lead female protagonist if there wasn't already a female lead, and then like the signature villain or rival for each franchise, and then expand upon that. So everybody's got like a nice little sampler and everyone's equally distributed. We don't have like an entire army of Fire Emblem lords running around. No,
we don't.
But if we're just talking 20, like a nice little melee type, well, I mean, you got to have Sonic, clearly.
I guess.
And
can you have skins? Can you have like alternate skins? I'm
gonna cheat and say skins. So give him a Shadow and a Metal Sonic skin. It's not perfect. I understand that, but it's close enough so we're not spending whole slots on them.
We're cheating.
Yeah. I still think you need at least the protagonist and the main antagonist. So Eggman in there, which I still think he would have made for a great heavy Bowser Jr. type.
Kazuma and Majima from Yakuza.
Yep.
Put them in.
Gilius, Thunderhead, and Blackadder. Death Adder.
Death Adder. Blackadder is something else.
Yeah.
we can't forget the best Sega character, Danica Patrick.
Knights and Wise Man with a Riala skin for Knights. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
Christmas Knights skin as well. Why not?
Alex Kidd.
To 8. Alex Kidd. He doesn't really have like a main villain though.
Oh well, just put Alex Kidd in there. You don't have to have the main
Alex
villain.
Kidd, and then like maybe Neko and the Choo Choos is something Olimar-esque.
Mm-hmm.
That's 10.
I from Super Monkey Ball.
Yeah, and somebody else from Super Monkey Ball, just for even.
Maybe Billy Hatcher.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. You start getting 2 from each franchise. We're getting a little. We're leaving out some of the other ones.
I mean, I don't want to
Persona
overload.
It's like, I don't know. Would you count Atlas's games as Sega games for like a Sega?
I feel like folks associate it with Atlas more than they do Sega.
They don't bring. Yeah, Sega's not really a big part of it. Bayonetta would be one though.
Yeah,
feels like Bayonetta
and Rodan maybe.
Maybe.
All right, we'll say that, and then who am I missing? What am I? Streets of Rage.
Blaze.
Let's say Blaze.
Yep. And
Mr. X. I mean, maybe Shiva would look cooler, but okay, let's go Shiva. He looks cooler.
Yeah,
he is cooler than Mr. X. Let's not parse.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, we got four more slots. Echo the Dolphin. We're gonna pretend that rights are not an issue.
Mm-hmm. As a throwback to Fighters Mega Mix, we gotta have the Hornet from Daytona.
Yeah, all right. I dig it.
Mm-hmm.
Sagata Shinshiro is an unlockable.
Mm-hmm.
He's a secret.
Honey from Fighting Vipers.
Yeah. All right, that's our 20.
Yeah. You could swap out. You could say Honey from Sonic the Fighters or Candy from Fighting Vipers, and they're a skin for each other.
Never mind that their models would be nothing alike, and their hitboxes would be completely different.
Yep. Hmm.
And for those of you going, but what about Ryu out of Shenmue? He's the skin for Senshiro.
Yeah.
Yes, Shenmue is the skin for the living man, Senshiro.
It's got the Senshiro, yes. Can't forget about Jet Set Radio, Gum, and
shoot.
yeah, I know. We're kind of like missing out. We're missing them. Like you got Gum and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, would we want to include Ilala?
Probably.
We're going way over budget on this. Well,
and then we have to have the one guest character who's not Mario, and then there's Valkyria Chronicles, and yeah, there's a lot of Sega characters.
Hadn't even touched anything from the Phantasy Star line.
Yeah,
so yeah,
Alice,
Sega Smash Bros.
There you go. Just put Alice in there from Phantasy Star 1.
A Sega Smash Brothers game would not be lacking for roster.
No,
and no matter even being as restrained and generous as we were already leaving stuff out. So,
oh yeah,
I don't know. Bonanza Bros is kind of like a Ice Climbers duo. I don't know. Clearly, we have to do the ultimate roster. We just have to put them all in there.
Is Garfield our guest character? So we can have the Sonic and Garfield pack.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. What I do know is that was a good question. I like that one. That one was fun. All right, here's a question from Ann Tails. If someone put a slingshot to your head and forced you to say something nice about Christopher Thorndike, what would you say? Alternatively, what would be your last words?
Nice is that he has a very nice house. He has a lovely family. He has very good friends. That's not really saying anything good about him.
That's not saying anything good about him. That's just that's everything outside of him. That's not him himself.
He is surprisingly burn-proof. There you go.
Surprisingly? He
I mean, he forced his way off that bolted wall and picked up the powered-up chaos emeralds in his arms, and you could hear the sizzle.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't immediately turn into bacon. So there you go. Chris Thorndike is, surprisingly burn resistant. Good for him.
He exists. Fantastic. Lucky for him. Pretty much. I don't know. Anyway, what are your last words then?
Oh, if I can't say anything nice and you pull you don't really pull a trigger on a slingshot.
Well, I guess maybe if it's like a crossbow slingshot.
Maybe. I look him dead in the eye and just say, "It took me ages to get this good."
Always comes back to Sega.
Or just look at him and scream, "Sega!" And then pop. That's it.
Nice. I like it. Very good. Very good. Andrew D has a question. Were you ever given information on the locations of the zones and where they are in relation to each other? The backgrounds for some zones are really in need of some explaining, like the giant body of water in the background of Ice Cap Zone with all the floating ice, while others can probably be pieced together, like how for the longest time I assumed Azure Lake was the same length in Launch Base Zone, except from either a different angle or perhaps from either before the launch base was built or after it was potentially torn down. Any insight to these and the other multiplayer zones? I don't think they gave that much thought to it, dude. I think they just came up with cool backgrounds.
Yep, I got nothing.
I mean, that's really about it. They came up with fittingly cool-looking backgrounds or things that just worked. They didn't really put that much more thought into it than that.
And the games suggest a degree of interconnectivity, but beyond that, no. I got nothing.
Yeah.
I always wondered, though, like, the Death Egg itself is, like, partially submerged in Launch Base Zone. Is that because it landed in a lake, or is it because it pushed Angel Island into the ocean and it flooded,
Yeah. I don't know.
And once it took off, that's a lot of mass to displace. Did that lake just empty when it launched? There were gigantic thrusters coming out of it. Did it just, like, bake everything underneath? Is it a chasm now? Ooh, that'd be neat.
Never thinking too hard about it. Death Egg was in Lava Reef, so it was in a freaking volcano.
Well, no, that was after it crashed
the second time, though, I guess. I gotta appreciate Eggman's persistence in getting the death egg to work. He tried 3 times within the span of 2 games. 3 games.
The Chumbawamba initiative.
Yeah. He couldn't keep him down. Sonic couldn't keep him down until finally he did. Took him long enough. And we got a question here from Arcfighter. What is Amy's status as a speedster? I know she's nowadays put as a speed type in racing games and multiplayer, and in Heroes she was the speed character for her team. But in SA1 her running speed is slower than Knuckles and Tails. Even so, game evidence can only carry it so far. In IDW, we haven't seen really any speed-based feats out of her, as most of her fights focus on her hammer usage and Sonic doing all the speedstering.
That is a good question. And I don't know if there is a solid answer. We've been focusing on the hammer thing because that's more of Amy's signature ability. And she has had so many different typings, support and skill and speed, that I feel like tying her down to just one thing isn't appropriate. She's got to be quick to a degree. It's just, like you said, how much game evidence can you run off of, because it varies from game to game.
Right.
And when she's an unlockable, in like Advance, it's like, does that count because she's not part of the normal roster? But then she's able to be played later and she is kind of fast. I don't know. It seems like she's some kind of weird middle ground. I imagine she's faster than most. Like if she existed in a world without Sonic, Tails, or Knuckles, she would be incredibly fast. But compared to them, she's just better than average, I guess. Maybe that's probably something to ask about.
Yeah, and it's weird. It's taken them a while to even like codify what they want Amy to be. So
yeah,
her moveset has been like never very consistent.
Like even in SA1, that kind of light survival horror format was fine then because it was a story about her gaining independence and learning to confront adversity on her own.
Right.
I don't know if we could quite frame it that way today. She's had significant experience since then. She should not necessarily be on the back foot like she was in SA1.
No.
Unless you frame it in more of the like puzzle platformer way without the ticking clock of, Zero busting out a wall going, stars. So
I don't think he ever said that.
Well, it was in robot code.
Oh, okay. Here's a question from OzJam. When it comes to stories having a character growing up either throughout the story or sometimes a time skip, they're usually a different person from before, either from character development or something similar. While I think it's good for stories to have that progression, ultimately for me, I sometimes think that these stories that do this can change the character to be very different from who they were, or be someone else entirely. Well, I can't say any examples that you may know. I wanted to know how you think that developing characters from one age to another age can be done effectively without losing the traits that made them so recognizable to so many people.
It depends on the project. If what you're trying to do in the course of your story is show that growth and transformation, then that's the point, isn't it? Or if they don't grow, that may also be the point, is that they never mature or change.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do change significantly and others don't so much. I mean, one of the most prevalent ones, I guess, would be Goku. I mean, there is a fairly hefty time skip between the end of Dragon Ball and Z, but arguably Goku hasn't changed all that much. He's always been a fighter. He's always been a champion of the downtrodden. He's always been a bit of a goof and a glutton. And maybe he's gained a degree of, I don't know. I almost said more focus, but that really depends what part of Z you're looking at. And then never mind Super.
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends on what you're trying to do with the story. Like if the point of the story is to see the character's growth and metamorphosis, then yeah, that's perfectly fine. And what you do then is you look at what the character becomes and you look at where they've been, and that's the story. That's the enjoyment. You're not supposed to cling to this former version. You're supposed to celebrate their growth and what they've become. Whether or not you like where those characters go, that may be up to you. I can't really say without a specific example in mind, but
Right.
I at its core, I don't think it's an inherently bad idea. It's just how you execute it and what you're trying to do with your story.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, here's a question from Off. If Surge zapped Metal while Kit was holding him in a water bubble, how did I not smoke Kit as well? Why were you why were you trying to smoke Kit? Is that going on? What's going on here? I think he meant it. How did it not smoke Kit as well?
Please do not use the small boy as a bong. That is not advisable.
That's not what that water's for. No, stop.
It will not end well for anyone.
No, stop. Don't do that. Anyway, is that it? Is that your answer?
Oh yeah, that's the question.
I think he meant it smoke Kit.
It doesn't matter what you think he meant. That's what he wrote. That's the question.
All right. Please do not smoke the small child. That would be awkward. Here's a question from Axis. While I agree Sonic is not the romantic type, wouldn't you say he's kind of a player? After all, we see him whistling to Lumina in Sonic Shuffle and flirting with Nemu and Percival in Sonic and the Black Knight. Not to mention a few times he flirts in spin-offs like Sonic Boom and the Archie comics. Oh, it was a bit more than just a few times in the Archie comics, I'll tell you what.
Let's just kind of take Archie Sonic and put it over there. We don't need to consider that incarnation right now. If we're just talking modern Sonic, I don't remember him doing that in Black Knight, but it's been a while. Maybe I need to just rewatch the
Maybe
whole
a
thing.
little bit, but he gets kind of flirty with everybody. I mean, in general, like not just in Black Knight. There's a reason why Sonic and Shadow is such a popular ship, to be fair. Let's be real.
Well, see, that the distinction for me, the word I'm getting hung up here is player, which to me, maybe I just don't understand how the kids are using the terminology these days. But I think of it as more of a actively and aggressively sexual thing that is often to the detriment of the multiple partners they seek out.
Yeah.
Whereas a flirt is just being fun. You don't mean anything by it. It's just kind of a tease type thing. And if it were taken too far, you kind of step in and say, "Whoop, no, my bad. Sorry, I should have left it at just a hello." Type of thing.
I don't think they're meaning this sort of extreme thing, except for like Archie Sonic, which part of that was that it was
more
evil Sonic.
Anything,
that was evil Sonic rather than actual Sonic, but still, it got a little weird with Sonic Prime too. So I don't know. In terms of just like lighthearted, teasing in general, sure, that's Sonic's MO, whether it would be something of a flirt or just, being sarcastic. But beyond that, I don't think so. Nah, not so much.
Maybe I'm getting hung up on semantics.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Here's one from Batman69 LOL. What would an anti-Team Dark be like? Would they still be good guys or bad guys? How would they see the originals, and how would the originals see them?
Oh, boy.
I think the thing about Team Dark is that they're not supposed to be good guys or bad guys, so maybe they would still be kind of ambiguous.
I mean, Team Dark is ultimately 3 self-serving people who get along. Like, they kind of, their goals align for the moment, and thus they all work together, but it's a team of individuals.
And yet it's always the same 3,
Yeah,
almost always the same 3, except the one time it was Eggman instead of Omega.
But that's because the individuals had their own selfish goals and they just happened to align.
Right.
So I guess an anti-Team Dark would be 3 bosom chums just going out to do good, but they never get anything done because they all want to do different things and they can never agree on it.
So the Chaotix?
The Chaotix will solve their case eventually. Credit where it's due.
Yes. It's not exactly the same, but it's just the first thing I thought of. Like, Three very different people who all get along, but they're all great friends, but they don't get anything done. Except eventually they get something done. So there's a lot of similarities there. I don't know, man. Here's one from Brady B88. Sonic has stated a few times that he would happily accept Eggman to the good side should he decide to turn a new leaf. If Eggman truly and permanently gave up and accepted Sonic's offer, what do you guys think that transition would look like for him?
I imagine it would be the end of yet another campaign, and he gets beat, and the end boss robot's in shambles, and he just throws up his hands and says, "Fine, I'm done. You win." Yeah, I know. I just want to beat your robot. No. I'm done. I'm not conquering the world anymore. Oh, that's good to know. And then he goes about, being helpful, building things for people and repairing things. He's still a jerk. He's still arrogant, and he still rolls his eyes at the feeble minds that come to him for help. And every now and again, he's sorely tempted to dust off the Eggmobile and conquer everyone because, good Lord, just living among them drives him crazy. But no, he retired. This is what he's going to do now.
Figured he just want to be left alone. Leave me alone.
At the very least, he's going to make some pocket of civilization by doing good. And eventually they'll come crawling to him asking for his leadership once they see what the world's like without him. Yeah.
Does he still have Warbot and Cubot, though?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. He can't get rid of them. Yeah, gotta work with them. And meanwhile, Metal Sonic's just like, what? Metal Sonic becomes the villain, probably.
Yeah, probably goes rogue.
Probably the main villain, yeah.
Maybe he goes Neo again, just to do.
Or maybe he's just out in the wilderness. He's just hanging out. Just sits this robot amongst nature. Just be weird. Oh well. Here's a question from Chaos Sonic 1. Another season of What If? Sonic X, only this time the arc is called The Death of Two Worlds. Now the quote or death of both Mobius and Earth is happening only in a surprising plot twist. It turns out that is not really making time permanently stop as they thought in the original series. Turns out that Dark Gaia and Light Gaia are waking up and because Earth contains Dark Gaia and Mobius contains Light Gaia, and cause both light and Dark Gaia have been separated. Both are incomplete, and the only way to fix it is to merge Earth and Mobius together. But the only way to do that is a chaos control of the 7 Super Emeralds. Your thoughts and fitting on this to the end of the Two Worlds idea for Sonic X? Boy, this is very dangerously close to a fan idea.
Oh, it's a fanfic.
It is a fan idea. It is a fanfic, but it's Sonic.
It's absolutely.
It's not Sonic X, so.
Yeah,
or it is Sonic X. It's not main, so you have that excuse at least. But yeah, this is just a pitch. Yeah,
it's Sonic X, and it's an unleashed adaptation. This is never going to see the light of day, one way or the other. And Two Worlds is dead anyway as a concept.
Exactly.
But this is a fanfic plot line. That it's not a question, and. If you enjoy that, then by all means expound upon it and, write it up yourself. But I can't really validate fan projects.
Sure. It sounds kind of like a neat idea. It'd be pretty cool. Nice.
A
fan comic or fanfic. Sure.
Part of me is like, hey, that doesn't really jive with the actual game canon because they were both sealed in the same planet and they're part of the whole light dark cycle. But Sonic X wasn't really faithful to Sonic Battle's plot either.
It wasn't faithful to any of the game's plots that it adapted, was it?
Adventure was pretty spot on from what I remember. Sonic Adventure 2 was not too bad. It's just Chris stole Amy's role.
Mm-hmm. And nobody wanted that.
It did expand on the whole gun angle in an interesting way, at least.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the most we got of Heroes was the Chaotix showed up, and Emerald / Sonic Battle was nothing like the game and far inferior for it. So, at that point, Yeah, sure, why not? 2 planets, different gods, mergers, whatever.
Yeah, do it. Why the heck not? And we got one here from Cosmic Cooking Hunter 77. Hey, Ian and Kyle, I got a combo question for both. If you guys could do a Mega Man Battle Network / Star Force comic, would you guys do make it awesome? And we know Eggman is a smart guy, so I bet he did a trick early on as he put his gene sample in a gene sample back where women can get kids. So the question is, if a woman, how is high class but smart and down to earth, and her female partner have twin, and they both take after her and Eggman and find out about him and the twin there as both boys, girls, or both go to see Eggman, and one joined Sonic Group and the other joined Eggman, how would he feel to have a minion that loyal to him and would not try to upstage him, and they work great together at him, along with what kind of terror they would unlash on the world?
The only punctuation in that is a backslash and a question mark.
That's it. That's what I just read that. There you go. Unlash. That's how it's spelled. I mean, that's all I can say. I think the answer is yes.
Number one, I've not really played a lot of Bad Network or Star Force, but they are very different franchises, so I'm not quite sure how they would cross over.
They're very story heavy, so you probably have a lot to work with.
Okay.
So there's that.
Not sure where Eggman fits into a Star Force and Battle Network crossover, unless the implication is it's supposed to also cross over with Sonic, so now we have 3 properties crossing over.
I don't know if this is necessarily... I think this might be 2 separate questions. I think they got a combo question. That's what they mean by combo question. They're trying to sneak in 2 questions. But, I mean, I think the Star Wars... Or the Star Wars... I think the Battle Network and Star Force comic is a separate thing from the rest of the whatever this is. It's not really a question.
Okay.
What would his comic be like? I don't know.
I don't know enough about those franchises to say, and the rest of it is a fan idea that I can never use.
I'm being told we need to talk more about Eggman's jeans.
He doesn't wear jeans. If anything, he wears waiter pants.
It looks
under that weird Michael Jackson coat.
He looks great in those apple bottoms, I'll tell you what.
He's going to devise some Levi's.
That sounds great. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know, man. I'm so confused. I'm so lost. I think we need to take a break.
Yeah, we'll be back in just a minute with more questions here on the BumbleKast.
And we're back, and we got a question from Dark Knight Beyond. We get a lot of questions from Batman-esque folks, you know? It's interesting.
Well, they're detectives. They want answers.
I guess that's true. The other one is lolling over 69s, though. This one is Beyond. But not Batman Beyond. This is Dark Knight Beyond. It's different. One of my favorite stories from the Archie comics was in Light Mobius with King Sonic, and I was just wondering if it's possible that world could still exist somewhere out there in the multiverse.
For legal reasons, the Genesis waves wiped out all old continuity forever and always. No take backsies. They're gone. Poof. If you want in your own headcanon to say that it was spared somehow and everyone lived happily ever after, more power to you. I'm not going to argue the point.
Nope, that's up to you, buddy. You do you. You have fun doing what you want to do. That's totally cool. No need to worry about it. Whatever actually happened, you can just ignore it and do your own thing. That's the great thing about your head and imagination. You can come up with stuff and it don't matter. So, does it still exist somewhere out in the multiverse? Sure. Why not? And we got a question here from Dr. Meccano. Is the modern city in the Final Sonic Origins animated cutscene supposed to be Station Square, or at least a city on one of the human-populated continents? I ask this because the traffic light's walk symbol has a stick figure silhouette resembling a human, rather than a Sonic-styled animal person. Was this scene meant to be a bridge between the classic and modern eras by having Sonic and Eggman chase each other into a human-populated city?
No, it was just supposed to be kind of a montage of various terrains Sonic runs through.
It seems like more like maybe kind of a nod to the OVA more than anything. Kinda? In a sense?
If anything, it was a nod to, oh shoot, what's the name of the city course in Sonic R?
Oh, I forget, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Or, it's another city like Starlight Zone or something like that. It wasn't meant to be an intentional direct nod or connection to anything.
Yeah.
As for the walk sign, well, if you had something that looked like a hedgehog, then how do the foxes know when to cross the street?
It's true.
If you have just a universal, circle with sticks coming out of it, it's like, oh, that vague anthropomorphic sign is meant for everyone. It's a super inclusive crosswalk sign.
Of course. Makes sense. Sure. We'll go with that. Here's a question from Dove. In the second annual, we got to see a Metal Sonic story, short as it was. If we got to have a modern Metal Sonic and Metal Knuckles story, what might it be like? What would a modern Metal Knuckles even be like? Would he be akin to Metal Sonic? Would he be akin to Metal Sonic, but focused on Knuckles, or something else different entirely?
I don't know. Because the obvious answer would be he's just the counterpart to Metal Knuckles. Metal Sonic. That he is, a complete antithesis to the real Knuckles and wants to supplant him and prove that he is the superior Knuckles. That kind of feels like such a retread. It's boring.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it makes sense. That's the whole point. They're supposed to be the weapons designed to surpass the originals. But it'd be doing the same thing again. Yeah.
A weapon designed to surpass Metal Gear.
Metal Knuckles. Otacon. He technically doesn't have knuckles. It's just a bunch of blades coming out of a palm. Don't think too hard about it, Snake.
Yeah, that's what I say. That's what I always say. Don't think too hard about it.
But it would be kind of neat if maybe we could use it to explore some extremes of Knuckles. Like maybe Metal Knuckles is very protective of bases or does not work well with others because he's, programmed to be very soloist. Maybe he just doesn't get along with Metal Sonic in the same way that the originals rival each other. But where Sonic and Knuckles can put aside their animosity and do what's right, maybe the metals are constantly clashing or something. There's directions we could explore, but I don't know if we can access a modern Metal Knuckles. So
yeah,
we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Alrighty. Here's a question from Dream Boatin. In the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 prequel comic, Tails mentions that Sonic was about his age when Longclaw got attacked by the echidnas, but Tails is like twice baby Sonic size. So does that mean Tails is going to grow up to be super tall? Like 5 to 6 feet tall? Maybe.
Maybe. Maybe just meant the baby Sonic was a runt.
He's going to turn into Titan Tails when he becomes an adult.
Go back to our first question. The adult version is unrecognizable from the child version.
Nobody wants that.
I actually would want to see movie Titan Tales just for the hilarity of it.
Okay, well, I mean, that would be kind of funny.
The horror, the absolute horror, yes, but...
Oh, I mean, yeah, but...
20-foot tall, rippling with muscles, absolutely no neck. The head is just an angry pimple on the shoulders.
Uh-huh.
Now I am a man. That would be funny. It'd be gross and horrible, but it'd be funny.
Yeah, it would be definitely confuse people. Be like, what what is this? What is this? And meanwhile, people who know would be like, anyway, we didn't even answer the question. I don't know what the question even is. Would he be that tall? I don't know. Maybe he's just an early bloomer.
Yeah, maybe that. Or maybe quite literally, baby Sonic was a runt. Who knows?
I mean, Sonic is pretty small.
Owls know how to take care of hedgehogs.
Where did Knuckles come from? I don't know. He's from somewhere. Here's a question from Exadel. This no doubt delves into Lost Hedgehog Tales territory, but as someone who thinks Bunny is best girl, just what sort of arc was she in for after she left? I know the initial plan was for her to be legionized, but with the plan for Sally to be de-roboticized in issue 50, would she come to regret it? Would she stay with the Dark Egg Legion, or try to escape with Rotor and Nicole, helping with those pesky bombs in her new limbs?
That is very much Lost Hedgehog Tales territory, but it was going to be surface level answer, an exploration of her extreme bad choices when she got upset, harkening back to the breakup with Patch and all that came after that. So it would be an exploration of how she copes with that sort of thing, or how she doesn't, and then how she progresses from here. But if you think for a flat second that her Uncle Beauregard would put the bombs in his little girl, you got another think coming.
Yeah. Nope. All right, here's a question from Finest Cacophony. Ian, I want you to grab yourself by the collar and shake yourself while listening to this. Glomgold, Glomgold or Strongbad? Which one do you prefer voicing?
Sorry, I couldn't hear that. I was being shaken about.
Oh, Glomgold or Strongbad? Which one do you prefer voicing?
Why
not both?
I mean, because Strongbad's like the coolest dude that ever did it and was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I'm going to take that back. That doesn't sound right. No! But on the other hand, Glomgold's the gold standard. I don't know. Anything that's completely maniacal, I guess, is more fun in the end.
Yeah, but with Strongbad, you could just do like words. Just say it'd be like,
yeah, I mean, Strongbad's definitely not as much of an endurance test.
No. Yeah, but Glomgold is hilarious. They're both hilarious. I do them both poorly, so, whatever. Yeah, I mean, people seem to like them, so.
I'm glad.
You don't do them that poorly, or at least you do them poorly enough that they're more entertaining.
Well, they're recognizable enough, I guess. You understand that they're bootleg Strongbad and bootleg Glomgold.
I don't know. I think you could voice Glomgold for real. You could do it.
Maybe with some practice and not just, on the fly every now and again. Maybe.
Here's a question from Happy Times. You mentioned in the original outline for the Metal Virus arc, Knuckles would have gone to fight the Deadly Six, while Gemerald stayed behind to help guard the Master Emerald. How differently would the fight lineup have been in the outline? Would Knuckles have teamed up with SBO against Zaz in Sonic's plan? Or did you have different opponents in mind for those two? And would Cream have to solo Xena without Gemerald? Or would she have gotten some assistance from someone else?
Oh, man. It's actually been so long since I've thought about it, I kind of forgot what the original plan was. I do remember it was supposed to be Knuckles and SBO versus Zaz, because it was supposed to be the trained fighters against the Berserker. The disciplined ones versus flails at things and hopes for the best.
Yeah.
I don't remember what we originally had planned for Xena.
Was it Cream or was it someone else?
I don't remember.
I mean, maybe it was just Cream and Cheese. I mean, Cheese could fight.
I don't think so. I don't think we would have thrown her to the wolves like that.
Oh, but Cheese was a Zombot at that time, apparently. I don't know. This is during the outline of the Metal Virus arc, so maybe things were different back then, before then.
No, they got Zombotted same as always.
Okay.
The slow escalation of, what are you doing, you mad, evil man? Stop hurting my babies.
Yeah. Slow escalation. Man. Well then. Maybe look that up. In the meantime, we got a question here from Jams. This is a slight issue 50 spoiler, by the way, so if you have not read Sonic issue 50 yet, don't listen to this question. Close your ears. Issue 50 was amazing. Never thought I'd see the word scumbag come out of Eggman, or see him beat the crap out of someone mano a mano. Were there any reservations or comments from Sega/IDW regarding Eggman's language and combat? How far can this guy go?
Yeah, it's 0 notes. They were super cool with it. Like, the only note I had in there was that when I was looking up references for the mechas, I realized that Super Egg Robo that Starline piloted was actually much larger than I remembered, and shouldn't have been the same size as Inca Emperor. So I put in a note during the revisions saying, shrink them down so that they're comparable in size, so you have a proper, Gundam struggle. And if that's a problem, we can just say this is like Super Egg Robo 2.0. And the notes from Sega were like, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, that works.
But everything else, yeah, they were super cool with it.
Well, I mean, he's good. He's good old El Gran Gordo, so...
The one note they did have in that whole fight was actually Dr. Starline.
Really?
I can't remember now how originally the fight played out, but they suggested that he go all out with the Tricore and do the Team Blast to finish things off. And I was like, you'll let me do that? Okay! That sounds cool. Yeah, all right. We'll put that revision in there. And yeah, it was super cool that way. So
nice.
So there you go, kids. Not all the notes from Sega are the mean, nasty mandates. There's some fun stuff. Fun can be had.
You can have a good mandate between Eggman and Starline where they fight each other. That sounds like a date. That's a heck of a date right there. Date between two men. Good for them.
And now, Dr. Starline, I'll take you out on the town. I don't think that's what that means. Let's paint the town red. Open a vein.
Whoa, hey, whoa. Oh, boy. All right, Johnny Be Good has a question. Before the gathering that turned all the Chaos Emeralds into 7, the Emeralds of Mobius were green. You know what else were green? The underground Nurbs. So what I'm asking is, were the Nurbs and Nurberhoods on other planets with Chaos Emeralds a whole galaxy of rainbow Nurbs?
Yes.
Nurbs.
And then by prophecy, the great Nurbery would happen, and all the Nurbs would be brought together into 7 individual Nurbs.
Revenge of the Nurbs.
And then through some other cosmic happenstance, those 7 get merged into the Master Nurb. And then he gets run over by a truck, and we never have to deal with him ever again.
Freaking Silver Age nonsense.
All I can say is that question really got on my last Nurb.
I'm really nervous about that one. Here's Jolene B with a question. How would you rank the various humanoid troop Badniks seen across Sonic's history? Those being the Egg Robos, Egg Pawns, the SWAT bots from Set AM, Badnik Troopers from Sonic the Comic, and arguably the E100 series. Do you have a favorite?
I always loved the Egg Robos. I just freaking love their design. I don't know what it is about them, but just they speak to me. They just look cool.
They're just Eggman, but they're Robo Eggman. It's like,
yeah,
that's just kind of cool.
Because they've kind of got like a miniaturized version of the giant Death Egg robot's head, and the big old honking blaster cannons and the built-in rocket packs, but the little spindly, like, I don't know, they just look cool. I like Egg Robo. It's neat.
And then the hard-boiled heavies get kind of based on them.
Yeah,
similar designs. So yeah, and the hard-boiled heavies are awesome. I like their look for sure.
Yeah, but they're not standard grunts. They're
not standard, yeah. But
I enjoy the Egg Pawns. They're kind of I like them as the modern successor to the Egg Robos. They've got that Eggman aesthetic, but they are their own thing. And they can be goofy and charming, but they can also be kind of menacing in the right light or at the right angle. And they're highly modular, so you can outfit them with all sorts of weapons and stuff without really betraying the core design.
Right.
Which makes them very versatile.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas SWAT bots, I feel like number one, they were jobbers, start to finish.
Yeah, they look very intimidating. They have a great design, but they're not really a threat necessarily.
And I feel like the white and gray variant is just over-designed.
Yeah.
Too many lines, too many details. The black metal versions were cool because, anything that's sleek black metal is going to be cool no matter what you do.
Right.
But again, still too many points and joints and stuff. Now I know egg robots have a lot of details to them too, but I feel like their general shape is more appropriate for Sonic.
Bulbous.
Yeah. I mean, the Combots were cool, what very little they got used for, but they too were also like super over designed.
Yeah. And the cameras were actually, it's kind of neat how they brought the cameras back sort of for the movie, for the second movie at least. The cameras are very similar.
And to me, it was like, hey, that's a modern version of the Spy Eye. It looks like it.
There we go. That's the word. That's the term I was looking for. The Spy Eye.
I'm not familiar with the Badnik Troopers
or the Eye
from
Spy.
Sonic the Comic, so can't really weigh in on those guys. The Egg Fighters out of Unleashed, which are basically egg pawns, just a different shape, are not bad. It is kind of amusing that their hands can pop off and become tiny little fighters themselves. And like the egg pawns, you can outfit them with various weapons, but there's something kind of impersonal about the design that I like with the various egg pawns more. And when I say egg pawns, I'm casting a wide net, including like the egg flappers and the egg hammers and the egg knights and the egg wizards. I kind of feel like they're all part of the same family of robots. And like an egg wizard is just a highly modified pawn. An egg flapper is just a pawn without legs, but given wings.
You got your
that kind of thing.
You got your pawns, you got your lieutenants, you got they're all same family.
I don't know if I would count the E100 series as standard grunts, though, because to me, they were all very specialized hunters.
Yeah.
At least in the initial line.
And there's only a few of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not very many. Although apparently there's probably like, how many between how many were there? What was 107? Was that it? Was the last one, or was there more?
Let's see. Zero was 100 alpha.
Yeah.
Beta, gamma, delta, epsilon. I think epsilon was 6, and that was for the main line.
Okay.
And then there was the Phi's in battle, which I think were 122, but technically that doesn't work out right. It should have been like a 121 or 123. I forget now how the number got messed up. Well, no, because Omega's 123.
Omega's 123, yeah. But where's
the Phi's were misnumbered somehow?
Yeah. So where's the other 16 that should be in between 123 and 107? Yeah.
We had some fun with that idea in the Archie book, both pre and post reboot. But I don't think we're ever going to go back and fill in those numbers.
Nah. Then you're just getting into Mega Man territory. All right. Here's a question from Keeper of Monsters. Now that we've seen the cutscenes for Sonic Origins, I have to know, do those Fox Bullies have an internal name, or are they just nameless background characters?
I think they had some functioning names just for production, but that's some insider stuff that I don't think I can talk about. So there's no official names that I'm aware of.
I've seen various fan names, but that's about all I've seen. Like Tough and Rumble. Kylo and Meter. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe someday they'll have names. Or not. They were just silly one-offs. Can't give everything a name. This isn't Star Wars. Don't have to have a backstory for everything. We got one last question here. It's from Lemur Chicken. One-time only event at a local club. A stand-up comedy tournament with a prize of free chili dogs for a year at any participating stand. Sonic's typical crew of friends and enemies participate. What kind of jokes do they tell? Who wins the coveted prize? Does Omega take heckling well?
2 Badniks walk into my line of sight. I blow them up. That is the joke.
Boo, you're not funny. And he doesn't care.
No, he doesn't care. He just kind of starts listing off various battle reports the entire time.
Yeah.
The audience did not understand. The joke is that they thought they could survive my wrath. It is funny every time.
I do think it would still be funny. Like, boo, you're not funny. And then there's a momentary pause, and then poof, and blast of fire. And then nobody heckles him for the rest of the night. Nobody else does.
Let's see. Sonic. I think Sonic would take some time to warm up. He's not really that kind of performer, but once he finds a groove, he'd be able to do one of those. He'd be able to do one of those routines where he just tells funny stories, or tells stories in a way that just comes across as funny because he's got the charisma.
Mm-hmm.
Tails, I think, would overthink it. He tries to craft very funny jokes, but then kind of gets hung up on the delivery of it.
His tight five was too tight.
Knuckles just insults people because he doesn't know why he's on stage, and they're laughing and he doesn't get it, but he keeps saying mean things to people because they're being dumb to him. Doesn't even know why is the spotlight on him. It's bright. What are these voices and faces? Back away. And it works out for him. Amy would have been great, but she gets stage fright.
Aw, really?
And she's kicking herself later because she does this all the time. She's a people person. She talks with individuals all the time. I guess just being on that stage under that bright, glaring spotlight with all the eyes upon you and the expectation weighing you down. And why do you even think you're funny? And why are you even here? And I need to get off the stage.
Maybe, I think Styx would probably win unintentionally. She's trying to warn people. She's trying to tell people a warning of a new conspiracy, and everyone just thinks it's a hilarious joke. They're not believing me.
Orbot's telling all sorts of stories from behind the scenes of the egg base, and they're actually hilarious until Eggman gets wind of it, and he comes in and just grabs him off stage.
Doesn't actually...
You don't even eat!
Doesn't actually do anything to him. He doesn't actually,
No, just walks up on stage, compacts him into the bowl, tucks him under his arm, and walks off stage.
And walks away. And then afterwards, nothing happens. It's just like...
Rouge is hilarious. Rouge might actually win.
I think Rouge would
dry wit.
Oh, yeah. Rouge would be very funny.
Like, she'd be able to find that magic balance of telling actual jokes and seeding them throughout a story, and people would just be in conniptions. So yeah, I'm figuring Rouge wins.
Although Bean might be funny too.
He is as like a prop.
He'd be more like a prop slapstick comic, yeah.
Except then he actually hits people in the front row with shrapnel, and then they have to drag him off stage in a straitjacket.
Well, that's why you give ponchos to the front row. This is a classic. This is like it's like a Gallagher show. You got to be prepared.
Yeah, but Gallagher uses sledgehammer. He uses incendiaries.
Yeah, well, put up a blast shield. It'll be fine.
He'd take that as a challenge.
Bean and Bark is a comedy duo. Maybe they'd be like a little bit of a Penn and Teller routine, sort of, except more crazy. Vector would probably be terrible, although but it would be so bad it would be funny.
What's the deal with this airline food?
Yes, exactly. Did I ever tell you?
I just flew into town. Boy, a Charmer's arm's tired. Because he carried me. It's a thing we do. We chaotics. Is this mic on?
Did I ever tell you about the time I wanted to find the computer room? Never could find it.
I mean, just the trip there was quite a hard drive.
Ah!
Oh, SBO, you don't count. Get out of here. Would he try to hold the mic in front of his snout at full arm length or at the side?
Maybe that's the joke the whole time he's moving it back and forth. You can't figure it out where to put it.
Finally, after a solid 5 minutes of absolute silence, he pulls a Mike Wazowski, just swallows the mic and burps it up so Charmy will cheer.
Yes. Yay. Yay.
Thank you. You've been an awful audience. Charmy, distribute the business cards.
We need a business. Anybody else? I think that's mostly Cream, I guess. Cream would be just adorable.
She would read from your standard joke book for kids, and everyone would laugh because it's adorable and they're being polite.
Yeah. Tangle and Whisper. Tangle would probably be pretty hilarious, but I don't know if she could stay up there for very long before she's got to move.
I think she'd do all right. I mean, she'd kind of be pacing the stage the entire time, but...
Should be a good prop comic, yeah. Might be fun. Who does all the dad jokes? It also seems like Vector's thing, yeah.
Yeah. I got to the airport and they said, "You have any luggage to check?" And I said, "I'm right here, ain't
I?" Wow.
Unrelated, but a factoid that clicked for me just the other day is that his current voice actor is also the voice actor for Zhong Li out of Genshin Impact. And if you want two extremes in delivery,
amazing.
Holy Hannah. Yeah, as Manthus wine, but where are those to enjoy it with?
It's kind of amazing, like the voice actors and the different characters that they play. Like, I mean, you got Sonic versus Ezio. I mean, it's completely
this is happening.
Two very different characters. Oh man, no! The Freedom Fighters would be Antoine would be like he would think he's being hilarious, but everybody would just be heckling him the whole time.
Yeah, it's not the jokes; it's the flubbing of English.
Yeah,
right.
Sally would overthink it.
Bunny, she would get Tails' jokes at least.
Bunny would be hilarious.
Oh sure.
Yeah.
A veritable Jeff Foxworthy.
And Bunny would, not Bunny, Rotor would probably be hilarious too. For some reason, I could
the shy, quiet type, but
I can see him get up there and really open up about some stuff. He's been through some things, man.
It's cathartic for him. It's just lots of angry ranting, but it's delivered in a funny way.
Yes. All right. Yep.
I think we've exhausted this one.
Yeah, Nicole just reads headlines from hard drive.
She pulls up funny YouTube videos.
That ain't a comedy routine, but sure. I mean, I guess I guess it is a comedy routine. Daniel Tosh made a living on that for a while. Anyway, we're done.
We are done. But before we completely wrap up, we need to give a big thank you to all the folks who make this show possible. Big thank you to Daniel H., Alex P., James K., John B., Jennifer R., Robotnik, Holmes, Samuel P., Sam Cybercat, Mike B., Dave M., Coupling Crew 128, Duas Diz Din, Off, Andrew D., Salute Your Cat, Jay Frost, Scruffy Matt, Hero of Light 13, Chris A., Sony, Ryan D., John M., Noni, Jib, Dawn B., Yami M., Lee H.K., Lisa M., Chevelle, Fiona M., Piggy Bank, Blue Title Gamer, Invade Turbo Tunis, Ben W., Tick Tick, Keeper of the Monsters, Xandorini the Painter, Final Neil, Jonathan D., Axis, Nemric, Solaris Stain, Godzilla, Dabbler the Dalek, Scurvy Pirate Hog, The Name is X, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Daniel B, Ava Arctic, Pedantic Cat, Dove, Red the Supernamic, Pandolce, Quaggle Gaggle, Chad, Professor Rye, Jennifer H, Les, Cameron H, Sapphire Scarletta, Preston M, Alphamon or Yukon, Arc Fighter, Noah S, Corjiro Highwind, Supersonic Fan, Chase L, Red Wolf, Nondol, Alex GS, Awesome Cakester, Kimiko, Radry, Callum Q, Jack the Animator, Just a Mountain Soul, Finest Cacophony, Ty H, John the Real Waluigi, Maddie H, Johnline B, KJB and Tails, Triplets Born, The Throne Awaits, N Zephyr, Owen BD, Mox DeRusival, Lights Ubel, The Marble Gardener, T-Ranger, Lewis J, 4 Sonic Fan, Joshua S, Omega Watt, Agent Kaz, Saving Throws, Navarre, Exadel, Michael P, Ty Cyan, Lemur Chicken, Jamal S, Neo Strafe, Rhythm Raccoon, Lacey M, Wild 48, Finners Asger, Pap, Delta God 77, Dapper Shinks, Miggy Sawdust, Pig Dan 20, Jinx, Unlikely Veronica, Spiral Warrior, Lucky Lychee, Angela V, Cosmic Cooking Hunter 77, Dr. Meccano, Ozjam, Miles the Prower, Shimmy Maru, Starlight Sec, Phelps G, Ryoko Shion, Meta Mode, Danny the Light, Frost the White Line, Agnes S, Wheels 282 Hedgehog, Brett B88, Dark Knight Beyond, Nova Polyduo, Pizza Person, Scourge Time, Somebody, Speedweed, Seth Cube, The Might of Gobora, Yoshi Milkman, Zed Cartoonist.
All right. Well, heck. That was a good amount of names right there.
Over 140 patrons and supporters. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you for all your love and support. We very much appreciate it. And thank you for all your hate and anger, too. We like that. It's funny. Keep it up.
That's going to wrap it up for this edition of the BumbleKast. We'll see you Wednesday for another priority episode and Friday for a standard Q&A episode. Until then, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
See you later.
You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org.
I don't know what that question was either. That's what it said.
I don't want to tease people, especially those that support the show, but at the same time, proofread your questions.
I don't either. I don't know if I don't know. I think that maybe they intentionally did that. It wouldn't surprise me. Just trying to troll us, especially me, because I read the questions.
Well, if someone sends an intentional word salad just to put me on the spot, I don't really appreciate that, because now I feel like either I'm an idiot or I'm an asshole.
Well, depending on who you ask, you're both.
Well, hey! You're putting that in the after credits. That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, am I wrong? I'm not wrong.
No, not at all. That's why it's funny.
Yeah, I know. I know I'm not wrong because I've seen it.